Almost there. 2 gates to go. This is what digging deep looks like. Gang. We're going to the meeting. You don't understand?
Hello, fam. Welcome back to TFD. It's always a blessing to have you here with me today. And listen, there's trouble in paradise right now. What once looked like a united front is starting to crack. You've got players swimming with sharks thinking they were ready to push the owners into a corner. They believed the pressure would work. They thought the league would fold, give in, and hand over exactly what they wanted. But now, the clock is ticking. Time is running out. And suddenly, folks are realizing they might be in way deeper water than they expected. Behind the scenes, it sounds like members of the executive committee are starting to look at each other like, wait a minute, should we take this deal before we sink the whole ship? Because if this goes wrong, it's not just a bad negotiation. It could seriously hurt the WNBA as a whole. And that's why this is getting really interesting. Talking about the difference between Caitlin Clark's calm, business-minded comments on NBC during her NBA analyst appearance versus Natasha Cloud going completely off just a couple days earlier on the same exact topic. Same issue, totally different energy. One framed it like professional negotiations, the other made it personal, going straight at the owners. And right there, I said it, this feels like a fracture, a split, not just between players and owners, but inside the players' own union. Well, turns out that's exactly what's happening. Now you've got reports coming out saying there's tension, disagreement, and potential gridlock inside the very same group that's supposed to be united. If they can't even agree among themselves, how are they supposed to win a negotiation? This story just dropped from ESPN, and trust me, this is headed towards chaos. So look, the meeting went down this morning. I don't know if they're still locked in that room right now, but one thing is clear, this just got a whole lot more interesting. You can feel it. There's definitely some kind of split forming inside the players' union. The unity they were showing before, yeah, that's starting to crack. Here's said sources. WNBA Players Union meeting Monday could be pivotal. The WNBA and the WNBPA, the Players Union, are meeting Monday morning in New York. And last I checked, today is Monday. So I don't know if they're still in the meeting right now or not, but this is their first in-person bargaining session involving players since October. Sources close to the process told ESPN this is a meeting many believe will be pivotal in whether a new collective bargaining agreement gets done or if the players decide to strike. And man, if you want to talk about losing even more favor with the fans, just look at the comments. So many fans are turning on the players now that they know what's been offered. People are saying, nah, we're good, just sign the deal. Union sources say frustration has grown because the league hasn't formally responded to the union's most recent proposal submitted around Christmas. But they also say a strong debate has emerged inside the 7-member executive committee, the same body that was authorized in December to call a strike if necessary. According to multiple reports, one group says now is the time to fundamentally change the league's revenue-sharing model, and the players shouldn't compromise any further until they feel comfortable with the new system. But here's where it gets really interesting. Another group says that while there are still things to negotiate, the players have already gained significant ground and are actually close to a deal. And they're less inclined to push for a strike. So yeah, they've got themselves a little mini-war inside the players' union. Either way, both sides want to hear directly from the owners instead of dealing with layers of middlemen and lawyers in between. WNBA-PA President Nneka Agwemike, First Vice President Kelsey Plum, and Vice President Nafisa Collier are set to attend in person. Vice President Breonna Stewart said she'll participate via video conference, an option for owners and other executive council members who can't make it to New York. At the end of the day, we're human beings. I think face-to-face conversation goes a long way. Plum said. She added, "Going into this meeting, I'm excited for the opportunity to be there in person with other players who are really invested in this, and with the league making the commitment to be there too." Stewart has also pushed for an in-person meeting, telling ESPN last month, "At some point, enough is enough. Personally, I want to be in a room talking about real things that are happening." And honestly, she's not wrong. These meetings get so sidetracked with language, verbiage, and legal wording that we start missing the whole point. She then went on to reference what Caitlin Clark said last night, saying, "I don't think this is just a big moment for the WNBA. It's for all of women's sports. I think it's one of the biggest moments we've ever had. I'm very confident we're going to get something done because we're in this moment because of the product we put on the floor. So we need to be able to continue that."
Okay, look, this is a new update by Alexa Philippou. Said WNBA Players Union meet to push forward CBA talks. Okay, the WNBA and the Players Union met for about 3 hours Monday in the first in-person bargaining session involving players since October, a gathering one source close to the situation described as helpful, as both sides work toward a new collective bargaining agreement. The gathering was based more on sharing the sentiments, philosophies, and perspectives, driving each side's positions, and having honest dialogue around those viewpoints, sources said, as opposed to exchanging new proposals. Sources told ESPN it was valuable for both sides to meet in person, ask questions, and receive direct answers as they look to break the month-long stalemate in talks, with the 2026 season scheduled to begin in less than 100 days, and the need for a deal increasingly urgent. There was some disappointment on the players' side, another source with knowledge of the situation said, because the league did not offer a response to the union's proposal that was submitted in late December. The expectation coming out of Monday's meeting, the source said, was that the league now understood that it was its turn to respond. Alongside Women's National Basketball Players Association staff, a contingent of players attended in person. WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike, Treasurer Brianna Turner, Vice President Alicia Clark, and player representative Stephanie Dolson. First Vice President Kelsey Plum and Vice President Nafisa Collier were scheduled to attend in person but had travel issues coming from Miami on Sunday night. Editor's picks. WNBA labor talks. 4 ways a new CBA can get done. Alexa Philippou, plus 3 more. As the players' delegation left the meeting, Nneka Ogwumike declined to comment to reporters. A source said that about 40 players, including members of the executive committee who couldn't attend in person, tuned into the meeting over video conference. Ownership was represented by multiple members of the league's Labor Relations Committee, Connecticut Sun president Jennifer Rizzotti, Seattle Storm owner Ginny Gilder, and Phoenix Mercury owner Matt Ishbia via video conference. New York Liberty owner Clara Wood Tsai and Storm minority owner Sue Bird, a former player and executive vice president, were in attendance. Players in the league have been far apart as they work to determine what a new revenue-sharing system should look like, but players have articulated they also care about establishing professional standards for facilities and staffs, enhancing benefits for retired players, and maintaining team housing. Sources close to the process told ESPN heading into Monday that they believe the meeting could be pivotal in determining whether a new collective bargaining agreement was reached soon or players decided to strike. The WNBPA body voted in December to give the 7-player executive committee the ability to call for a strike when necessary. The league has proposed a system in which players would receive, on average, 70% of net revenue, defined as revenue with expenses deducted, over the lifetime of the agreement. Salaries would project to rise above $1.3 million, up from $249,244 in 2025, and grow to nearly $2 million over the life of the deal. Average salaries would rise to above $530,000, up from $120,000 in 2025, and grow to more than $770,000 over the life of the deal. Minimum salaries would increase to an excess of over $250,000 in the first year alone, up from $66,079 in 2025. The league's proposal features a $5 million salary cap in 2026 that, in subsequent years, would increase in line with revenue growth, with players receiving separate revenue-sharing payouts following each season. The WNBPA, meanwhile, has proposed that players receive about 30% of gross revenue with a $10.5 million salary cap. Multiple sources told ESPN that the league projected that plan would result in $700 million in losses over the course of the agreement, and that it would jeopardize the league's financial health. But the union says it believes its revenue-sharing model still puts the league in a profitable position, a separate source close to the negotiations said, and calls the league's projected loss figure absolutely false.
So yeah, they met today. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to break down beyond that. The meeting happened.
The only real update we've got is that Nafisa Collier and Kelsey Plum couldn't make it in person because of travel issues. And look, you already know how that goes. Flights get delayed, plans fall apart, and sometimes stuff just doesn't line up the way it's supposed to. Now, here's what stood out to me. You can tell, once again, Caitlin Clark believes it's important to get on the court, play basketball, build on the moment, and keep the momentum going. But before any of that can really happen, it sounds like the players have to take care of their own house first. And honestly, I had a feeling this was coming. I've been telling you guys for, 2 months now? that you were going to see a section of players start saying, hold up, we're getting massive raises. What are we doing? Especially your back-end roster players. Even players from, number 5 in the rotation all the way down? Maybe even higher than that. Maybe even some stars looking at this like they're offering us 8 times the money by the end of the next CBA and we're passing this up? We're talking about $1 million in the first year, then it climbs $1.2 million, then it keeps growing nearly $1.9 million, and they're just turning the money away. I said it before, it's like money laying on the floor and nobody wants to bend down and pick it up. Now, I don't know who really believes they've got all the leverage. Maybe it's the crowd watching Unrivaled. Maybe they think a 50% revenue split like the NBA is realistic. We all know that's not possible. It's just not. What is interesting is how these leaks keep coming out. Usually overnight, usually from the player side. And I don't know if that's about minimizing backlash or walking something back after saying too much, but it keeps happening. Bottom line, the players' union has a split. That's fine. Let players cross over. Sign the new CBA. The ones who don't want to, stay in Unrivaled. Stay with Project B. You're not under a WNBA contract anyway. And for everyone acting like there's no talent out there, that's just not true. Ari McDonald, Chloe Bibby, last year proved it. There is talent on the market, including overseas. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. That really means a lot to me. I'll see you next time.